Hi, Superwoman. This is Kalua at Collusion Health and Harmony. I hope you are amazing today. So many of you know, or you might not know actually, my big mission here at Collusion Health and Harmony is to support you, right? Women are natural born nurturers. That's what we do. We're good at it, and that's okay. But sometimes, as we know, what happens is we end up getting put to the last of the line and really need somebody to help us, sometimes find clarity on what it even is that fulfills us and makes us want to jump out of bed every morning with 2 feet on the ground. And I call those our life's cravings, those things that really just fill us up. So I tell you that just to let you know about what brought me to wanting to help women to that, and my own personal story when it comes to that. So, my lesson, I guess fortunately and unfortunately, came very early on, my story of depletion. So I was not long out of college, right, working, and I did not go the corporate route. I went into human services, doing nonprofit work and working with people with disabilities. And I actually had gotten to a point where I was the program manager running, I was in charge of 3 residential programs and a day program. On top of that, it seemed as people would resign, there was a hiring freeze. So guess who got to take on their positions? So eventually I became the supervisor of our nursing, as well as behavioral specialist is what they were called, right? So I was in charge of, at a certain point, I believe it was 4 full-time positions that were all lumped under me. And then on top of that, I had home managers for each of the group homes that I had, but one had left, so I was directly managing that group home. And now another one was leaving. And not sure if you've ever been in that field, but basically every single time somebody doesn't want to show up for a shift or something happens, you get the call. And that's a lot of calls, trust me. So when that second home manager was leaving, what ended up happening was the executive director, who was my boss, ended up being approached by the home managers who asked for an increase and that they would cover the 2 unmanaged homes. So they also, in this proposal, proposed an increase for me as well, since I had already been covering with supervising the nursing staff and doing the behavioral work and a lot of the other stuff I had been picking up for a while. They had proposed that I get an increase as well. So the executive director went back to the corporate office and came back and said, great, yes, we have gotten approval to make sure that these 2 managers would now get an increase in pay, and that they would each cover 2 places. One would cover a home and a day program, and the other would cover 2 homes. Great, so where's my increase? What was mine? Oh, you're not getting one. But wait, I've been covering all this all along, and I had been covering that home. Yeah, but no, they didn't feel like, that fell under your job description because it's, all other duties as assigned. So, okay, what are the home managers now making? Oh, they're making the same amount of money that you're making. Really? Okay, but I'm still their supervisor. Yes. Okay, and I still supervise nursing. Yes. And I'm still doing behavioral work. Yes. And I'm not getting an increase. No. And of course, I continue to be called constantly. So at that point in time, I was regularly working, 50-hour weeks. And then plus when I get home, that was back in the days of pagers. Yay. That thing would constantly be going off. I found myself to a point where I was taking some anti-anxiety medication. I was so stressed out all the time. I had reflux so bad that I actually had to go in for a procedure to see what was wrong. My chest hurt so bad that I went in for a scope, actually, and it turned out to be that my esophagus was so swollen from reflux because of the stress that I had just this like ridiculous case of esophagitis that was so bad that the doctors were blown away. I just, everything just felt too much. And I decided to go out on a medical leave. And when I did go, the nurse actually said to me, I will put you on a medical leave for sure. After I told her my story, she's like, only if you promise that you will find another job. And I promised her, and I did. And so when I went out on leave, well, first of all, I had probably about 2-3 months of vacation already piled up because I was never allowed to take vacation. I was always told, well, we don't have enough people to cover and we really need you here, so no. So I didn't get home to see my family, in New York for many years. And unfortunately, I missed the last years of my dad. He unfortunately died at a young age, and I missed those last few years of his because I was not allowed to take vacation. Sorry, that one gets me. But what did end up happening was I used that time. I took that time as I was looking, right, for work, but I took that time and I took my dog to the beach. And I relaxed and I started going to yoga classes and I was just doing things for me. And I just started to unwind. It was amazing how wrapped and twisted up I was. And as I took this time, it just slowly and slowly, I just sort of started to unravel. And I became connected with myself again and got to this point of, how could I have let myself get to this place? But I did, and I learned my lesson to not let that happen again. Nothing is worth it. And, unfortunately, unfortunately, I had a really big heart, and I did want to be an advocate to these people who were my clients in these programs. And that was used against me, even when I wanted to take time off, or especially when I wanted to leave. Well, what are they going to do without you? They need you. And that was really hard. That was really hard because, of course, I cared for these people. And then that was used as leverage against me. And I had to make this really tough decision to put me first. And that's way hard. That's super hard. And anybody who has, people that you care about in your life, or, obviously children, to sometimes make that choice to put you first so that you can go on, so you can continue. I promise you, if I stayed on that path, I would have had a heart attack. I would have had, a list of medications that I would have been on. I would have had so many health problems and issues, and it just was not the way to live my life. And so I got away from it as I took those months off and enjoyed myself and unwound. I found a new job to start, and I was actually able to even start it in a few weeks and give myself an extra couple of weeks of total enjoyment without even having to worry about finding another job, and just get in that long overdue vacation that I hadn't been able to take in years, and find, like I said, find myself again. And then even what I did start to notice was that as I let go of that toxicity, the other toxic parts of my life started to present themselves. I was in a relationship that really was not the greatest relationship. And, it wasn't that bad, right? It wasn't that bad. People talk about lazy dating, right? So it's like, I can deal with it. But as I let go of that other toxicity and found myself again, it started presenting itself to me in a new way. And I began thinking, it was that bad. It is. I need to get out of this too. And so I left that relationship and, found myself like in this whole new place, new positive job. I ended up in a new relationship. I started my family, and just all of the good stuff started to happen for me. So I know that place. I know that place of stuck and just, what do you do? How do you get out? How do you do this? And I know that other side of it, the glory, right? All of the good stuff that's on the other side. Sometimes you just have to be really brave and push through so that you can have the things that you crave and not, be stressed out and miserable and just living this awful existence. So that's my story. That's my inspiration. And, I could go on for days and tell some of the stories of women that I've worked with as well, who have probably even worse stories than I do, and why it's just so worth it to prioritize you. So I hope that you are taking steps to prioritize you today. And if you're not, reach out to me. It's a free call. It can't hurt to just get on a call with me and let's just clarify things. What are your goals? What's going on? Can I help? Maybe, maybe not. If I can't, I am so happy to refer you to who can. So reach out to me, send me a message, go to collusion.com and learn more. And I hope to see you soon. Have a great day.